All right, there we go. There we go. Brother Dre, what is up?
Woohoo! In the building, folks. We are Hiller Morocco. Let's go. We are back at it.
You bringing that energy. Today we're going to talk about, listen, potential billion-dollar enterprise. What's your first thought that comes to mind, Dre?
Why not us?
Why not us? So I'm going to give the people some background and then we'll get into it.
Okay.
So today we're going to be talking about, me and Dre had the pleasure of visiting an enterprise called Whop. And if you don't know, if you haven't heard from them, it's essentially a marketplace for selling your expertise. So they want to be the Etsy, they want to be the Amazon, they want to be the Google of like digital creators. And they're building this platform called Whop. So I had the pleasure of getting invited. And backstory, I wasn't going to go. I wasn't going to go because I'm lazy. I'm a lazy entrepreneur. I like to be in my house with my kids, my wife, my dog, my kids, plural, and my dog. And Janoka was like, listen, there is a potential here to create a relationship that you won't know where it goes. And I said, all right, babe, I hear what you're saying. And it was all expenses paid. But either way, I wasn't going to go. I'm like, I go to New York all the time. I was like, you know what? I had the ability to invite someone. And I thought about my friends back home. Like, they're already in New York. They're already in Brooklyn. But I was like, they wouldn't get the value of, they will understand it, but I don't think they would get the value of like what it is, right? And I was like, who would get value from this? And I thought, also, who am I comfortable with? Who could go in the room and light it up and I could just play the wingman? So I hit on my guy, Dre. He was like, Dre was like, let's do it. And I hit up my guy, Dre, and Dre was like, let's do it. So we can start there, Dre. I want to say I appreciate you for coming out there, allow me to play the wingman while you got to float the room and I got to play off. I got to be the Scotty to MJ.
You're being humble. I didn't know that was. No, but it was a great time. Thank you for the invite. And let's talk more in detail. One, you're not lazy. You're systematized lazy. You don't like leaving your system.
That's it.
You like work, but if it's outside of the norm, bam, 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 bam. If it's like, you don't like that. But it was, I think you told me on a Friday, maybe a Saturday.
It might have been Friday, Saturday, and the event was Monday, and you was like, I'm in.
And the event was Monday.
How are you able to just say I'm in and just get up and go?
The majority of my work is virtual. So if I have a computer and a phone, I can make the majority of my income.
A digital, you're the definition of a digital nomad.
I'm a digital nomad who lives at home. Yeah. Yeah. So that was my goal. It was to be able to work from wherever I am in the world.
Yeah.
Make money from wherever I am. I didn't want to be tied to one location where I had to be there in order to make money. So for the past 10, 12 years, I've been able to make it happen with the majority of my income coming other ways.
So
but the event was fire.
The event was fire. So, all right, let's get back. If you guys want to learn more about Dre or myself, depending on where you're listening to this, y'all can go back to the old episode with Dre. Y'all can go back to the old episode with me on his show, and we could talk about that. So we got invited to Whop, and what they are building is a potential billion-dollar enterprise. So I want to say the entire experience from when we even got to the office, we were greeted. They got a building in Williamsburg overseeing the water. I want to make that very clear. Top floor, penthouse, whole floor, entrepreneurs, people who are working, overseeing the water in Williamsburg. And number one, Williamsburg is a very expensive place to live, especially today. So I got to shout them out on that. But the whole experience from the very beginning. So we walk in and they're taking photos of everybody who comes in because they want to make sure they know who's there and they want to, be able to share this on social media.
Yeah.
I walk in and I'm like, holy cow, this makes me want to be back in an office again.
It made you. And you had tweeted that you missed the office a week before that, which was wild.
It's crazy, right? So we get in this office, and I'm like, I miss the office energy. Dre, do you miss being in the office at all?
Yeah, I did. I missed so much that I applied to get a job there. That's how much I missed it.
He said, I missed it so much, I applied for a job there.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. You
So,
know, the thing about the office energy is you have other people. You're fortunate. You have a top level wife. Shout out to the wife, Mrs. Janoko. But when you don't have, so like they have 70 other people for energy to bounce ideas off of, to go to lunch with, to socialize with. And when it's just you can run out of your own ideas. So you have to, which is one of the reasons why, a few reasons why I went. One, you asked me to go. Two, your name was going to be on a billboard. So just, for homie brotherhood, I just thought that was just cool to see my boy win. And three, if someone is doing better than you, more advanced than myself, just do what they're doing. Just go where they're going. Just real simple. Anthony's further advanced in business than I am. I have no problem saying that. He's going here. I'm going to go with him. I'll figure out the rest later. But that's the bottom line.
A lot of people aren't. So that's one of the things that you have the ability. You've probably, I don't know if you've already had that, but a lot of people, I can't just say yes and figure it out later. That's not in me. So how do you build up something like that where you could just say yes and figure it out later? Because I'm still trying to learn. Sometimes I say yes, I'll figure it out. Most of the time, I have to know the details before I try to figure it out.
Part of it is because it's you. So besides from you, just great business person, you're one of my favorite people, right? You and I are like family. We're not even like friends. We're like literally like legit family. So because you don't steer people wrong, steer me wrong. It's a yes when someone like you says something. So when there's people I trust and they recommend something, I've hardly ever had a bad experience with it. Maybe it didn't work out. Maybe it wasn't what I expected, but it's hardly ever a loss. So I said, all right, let's do it. In life, you got to know. So you call yourself Scottie Pippen. It's funny. In life, you got to know when to be a number 2 or 3. You don't always have to be number 1. You don't always have to run your show, man. I'm in charge of this. No. You know stuff that I don't know. I'm tagging on. I'll figure it out.
I don't know if you noticed a lot of the conversations. So let's paint the scene a little bit, right? Because
let's do it.
Let's paint the scene a little bit. So Whop is an online marketplace for digital entrepreneurs. Most of their staff is under the age of 25, right?
25, yeah.
Most of their staff is about 25 years old. No wife, no kids. And their goal is to build $1 billion company. They said that's very I think they said $1 billion company, right? They went whatever it is, right? Then we valued at $1 billion. And I was looking at some articles. I think they're currently valued at maybe $300-400 million at this point, right? They just went through a round of funding. Their founders are 25 years old.
Yeah.
25 years old. And both of those guys look like versions of Mark Zuckerberg, right? Like versions of like a typical, a person that lives in Silicon Valley. And, these are kids who just were like, you know what? I want to build something. So if you know who their founders are, you kind of got a picture of who their staff is going to be. So we're in the office. We're probably some of the oldest entrepreneurs, oldest people in the entire office, 35 plus. I don't think there are many people that are 35 plus in that office, but most of the people in that room were like 19 to 25. Energy is high. People are excited. People are making money, and they all are there like sponges to learn from each other. So we go into this office. And one of the presentations they gave was going from 0 to, I think, $10 million in business. And they talked about the value ladder. So let's spend a couple minutes talking about that.
Value ladder. So segment, clip it up, value ladder. Okay. The first thing I realized what the value ladder is, on the value ladder. Shout out to who's the guy who was doing the value ladder presentation? You know his name?
I forgot his name. Oh shoot! This would be the time I can use my iPad. So you break it down. I'm gonna see if I can use my iPad and share my screen.
Okay, cool.
If you're not watching this on YouTube, then that's on you. But let me see if I can share my screen. All right, hold on. Let's see. And computer.
Okay.
Man, I'll be using
So
my
a
iPad on
value
my
ladder
coaching
is
calls.
basically. Oh yeah.
Oh, here we go. I think I got it. You got it.
Okay.
Boom.
So value ladder are the steps in which you make money, right? The systematized steps in which you start, scale, elevate, yada yada yada. And the brother, white brother, shout out to the white brother. He was breaking it down, and as he was breaking it down, he's cold. He is videographer turned $10 million entrepreneur, and he started with service-based business. Me and Anthony moved over to YouTube free game. Me and Anthony moved over to selling the cheapest price thing. Me and Anthony. Then middle tier, let's call that between 1,500 to 3,000, then 10,000 plus. But he started with what he had, and he just rolled with it. And as he was breaking down the value ladder, again, this is a testimony to him. But everything he broke down, I was like, yeah, we've done literally every step. Why haven't we made $10 million?
So you started with that. So you were like, we know this stuff.
But we do it.
But the difference is he's done it.
He has a higher belief system than we do. Brother Anthony, and anybody watching this, please take note of this. It's your belief system. So in my coaching calls, I had a promo for Black Friday. Just I want to get some more people on the phone. And I got some data. I think 80% of people who are doing something can do the thing. I think 20% just don't have it in them, or they're in the wrong lane. 80% can. For the people who get to the top, and the people who don't, the people who get to the top have an undelusional belief system, and or they bring in somebody or people to help them believe and execute. There's no other difference. None. Anthony, what's your take?
I don't disagree with you because we're both, and I love the fact that my iPad is sharing. Can you see my screen, right?
It's doing great, clear as heck. Great idea, by the way.
Crazy, right? Because we're like, this part right here is where my questions and your questions came up. So going from 10K a month to $10 million, he talked about that first 10K month, right? And when you start a business, your goal is like, I want to be able to do $10,000 in a month. So what you do is, and what you say is, that's the goal. But in order to do that, you have to be doing the thing. So he was like, I'm going to do the thing extremely well, which was videography and editing, so I can make 10K a month.
Yeah.
That's the first step. So for example, when we built our cleaning business, we said we're going to build it at $10,000 a month. That's what we did, right? Next stop was getting to that 100K goal. And that's normally the next holy grail of entrepreneurship. Like, I'm getting to that $100,000 goal.
Yeah.
You can't get to that $100,000 goal until you have the right systems.
Bingo.
So,
well, hold on. I have a 2 cents on that, Anthony.
Go ahead, go for it.
You can hustle to 100,000 a year.
You can.
I don't think you can hustle to 250 plus.
Why
I think
is that?
over 100, over 120 is systems, because the hustle, it's damn near impossible to take you there, because there's other software, there's other people, there's other strategies you need to get to that next level.
So you could hustle your way to 100, but you can't hustle your way to 250. I like that.
I don't think you can, or very rarely do I think you can.
I think you could hustle your way to 250. And I say that because some of our students have still hustled their way to 250. But again, I don't think it's ideal. Because now you're like, well, I could hustle my way from 250 to $1 million. And I think that's where the part of it comes in that's not ideal. So once you get that 10K, your next milestone is going to be that 100K from systems. But here is where things get tricky. Going from that 100K to that 1 million, he was like, this is where I built my digital education platform, which is where Whop comes into place. Like you could do the 10K, you could do the 100K, but when you want to get to that $1 million, that's where the digital education or the quote unquote information play comes into alignment. So both of us, both me and Dre and I, we have information systems where we teach people how to do the thing, right, to make the 10K. And we also give them the systems to do 100K. But in order to make the million, you got to teach people how you were able to do those, right? We've done that.
Yeah.
Here is where my mind couldn't go. My mind could not hit that $10 million because I wasn't thinking it was possible. And all I did was I created the software inside my $1 million platform to teach people, not only teach people, give them the software that already gave them the systems and it taught them the service. And he's like, that's all I did over and over and over again to get to that 10 million. So Dre, why couldn't I see?
Okay, so you couldn't see it because you're like, what else is there? And the software was the missing component in your mind.
Yeah, it was like, okay. But also the other part of it was that the $1 million a year, great. But he was like, all I did to get to $10 million was to build the software, and I gave it to everybody who was using the sharing the information. And I was like, oh, okay, I was overcomplicating it. I was like, I got to run ads. I got to do this. I got to do a whole new marketing plan. He was like, no, I just gave it to everybody who was already using the information. And I was like, oh, okay. So one of my takeaways was from that conversation was to focus more on sharing the software inside of our community with our students, getting more people to use the software that we use to take our cleaning business to $1 million. I was just talking to a young lady a little while ago, and she was like, well, I need a website. I need this. I need that. I need this. I was like, oh, our software does that. Now it's becoming more, our software does that. So instead of us giving you all these components we used when we first started our cleaning business, now I could say we have the software that does all of that stuff for you. And that gets another student on the platform. But why couldn't I see that before, Dre?
Because you're somebody who feels you have to see all the steps to take some steps.
I got to see the whole staircase before I take the step.
You got to see it all, brother. Or at least 80%. You've gotten better. At least 80%. at least 80%. You know, and it has pros, right? Like there are some pros that can come to it. But you can't get $10 million if you need to see all the steps, because he probably didn't know about the software. But he kept building, then implemented it, then grew. I was talking to a family member the other day. She's relaunching her notary business. Should have done it last year, but we're relaunching it again. And she was like, she was thinking of the name that she had picked before because we're redoing her Google business listing. And I was like, well, when they typed in, she was like, you know, the city, the service, yada, yada, yada. So Connecticut Mobile Service, whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's good enough for now. No, I have to get the name. I'm like, why do you have to get the name? But it was such a good name, I have to find it. But why did you have to find it now? And why? Vanity. The vanity metric. The cool. The perfection. Luckily for you, you've still been able to make millions with your perfectionism gene. But there are people who aren't even making $5,000 a year because of their perfectionism gene.
Yep.
Let it go. Get over it.
Most of those people in that room being under 25, they don't have that problem because they haven't experienced enough to be scared of anything.
Bingo.
So think about it when you're so going back to that room, and it's all related. Going back to that room in that conversation, There were 21. There was a 19-year-old, a 21-year-old that you had a conversation with that went to Harvard, and all she was doing was teaching people how to pass the entrance exams and how to. Not all she was teaching, because that's actually an amazing, well-needed product and service.
Yeah.
Teaching people how to do the entrance exams, but also doing your applications and applying to colleges. And she was like, I did this, so I just started showing other people. There was no scared bone. It was like, this is what I did, and this is what I started showing people.
And she had a business partner who she didn't know at the time. He's in California. She's in Harvard. I think he's somewhat older than her. They connected and they grew the business together. There were just people there who just go, bro. And we talking to people 19, 21, like literally 19, 21-year-olds who were doing 90, 80, 70K a month. The kid, I'm gonna call it the young brother who asked the question, and I answered the question abruptly. He answered the question. He said, well, we're doing 90 now.
90,000.
Not that a month, $90,000
$90,000 a month. So you said the kid was doing $90,000 a month. I'll make that very clear.
$90,000 a month. and he was saying, well, we do this. Some of us want them to teach it. Some of us, his clients are doctors who need marketing. Teach them the system, and some of us just want us to do it for them. He was like, what's the next thing? I said, so I have a unique gift where I can see what people are missing very, very, very quickly and early on in the conversation. And I said, your next thing is to get more people who don't want you to teach it to them, but to do it for them on a long-term basis. So his contracts were, I believe, 3 months, maybe 6 months, 3 months, 6 months. I said, well, all right, but for the people who, let's say that they're paying him $10K a month for marketing, who don't want them to teach it, who just want them to just do the marketing, work with them for longer. Your next thing might not be anything outside of your current business, bro. Your next 10, 20, 30 a month, whatever, 100 a month, million a month might be from something you tweak within your software. I'm working on one-on-one coaching packages for personal development and how to build an online community, right? Just two things. I was talking to Anthony and a friend of ours, Mark. I said, how do I grow this thing? And they gave me suggestions. You know what I was doing today, Anthony? I was getting testimonials from people I worked with in the past. You know why? Because you and Mark said it. I had the thing. I just had to just tweak what I got. The tweak.
The tweak play.
The tweak play is your next stream of income.
So that was another thing that came up. So being in that room also sparked more ideas. So what Dre was just talking about, we were talking about Mark. So when I came back, Mark Bedawale, go look him up on IG. But this is the importance of being in rooms, right? And I almost missed out on this because I didn't want to go. I didn't want to be in a room. And I understand we got families. We got kids. Some of y'all don't got kids. Some of y'all don't got families. Y'all just don't want to do nothing, which is fine. But you got to be able to, you want to make more money. You want to make more opportunities. You want to create more networks. You got to get in these, you got to get in rooms. I know people talk about the importance of getting in rooms and how do you know what room is the right room? And you don't know. Sometimes you don't know. Sometimes it just takes somebody that you trust being there, saying, yo, you should come to this. So being in that room, let me tell you how the conversation started, what Dre was just talking about. So after we got back, I was texting, Mark had asked me about the event. And he was like, yo, I saw the event. It looked dope. What do you think about the platform? I'm like, it's absolutely amazing. And it sparked a conversation about us not being in communication as we should. And I was like, oh, Dre was there. We kind of talked about you briefly, like you would enjoy this event or something like that. Or how's Atlanta? And he was like, yo, we need to talk more. I was like, done. I created a text message with him, you, and myself.
Yep.
And that just sparked the conversation. So being in that room sparked another mini mastermind that might make us a couple 10, 20, 100, maybe the next million.
Yeah, I think it will.
So the importance of being in those rooms are like nuts. And go ahead, Dre.
And this part's so important. It's the energy, man. it's easy to get caught up in your own ego and ideas when you're the only person who you're talking to. You get caught up. Well, I thought this. I thought this. I thought this. It becomes the I show. And you have to have a certain amount of ego and even a hint of arrogance to even think you can pull this shit off. Like we're starting companies trying to change the world and increase our bottom line and increase people's lives. That shit is crazy. Who would think that?
These 19-year-olds thought that, and they are thinking that, and they are doing that. It goes back to not having that fear.
Not having the fear, but in with that confidence, bravado, whatever, you have to have room for I don't know everything. And oftentimes the people who aren't where they want to be financially have more ego than the people who are ahead financially. People need to be very careful. Has your ego outpaced your income?
Has your ego outpaced your income? Gotta let that one sit for a second.
Keep that in mind.
Has your ego outpaced your income? I think so. I think that I don't want to say it happened to me, but I think what happened was, I don't want to say ego. I don't want to say it. No. Well, part of it is ego because you feel like you've done everything, you've tried everything, and there's nothing like I've seen it all.
Yeah.
It's like, I know what you're going to tell me, or I know what you're going to show me, but sometimes it takes us saying, you know what? For example, like people that go through our program may sit there and say, I know 90% of this. Like, you can read a book. I was just showing somebody an example of this book right here, literally Who Not How. And I was just talking about this on my last workshop. Who Not How.
Yeah.
And I was like, you could sit there and know everything because you are the how. You got to figure it out. But if there's one piece in there, one gem that shows you who you could find, who you could talk to, who you could get in contact with, that could be everything. You don't read a book and be like, this whole book is brand new to me. That's your ego saying, you know what, I'm not going to read this book. But if you get one gem, one piece of information, like just from this workshop, this masterclass we're doing right now, whatever you want to call it, you get one piece of information that absolutely changes your life. That's your ego taking a step back and saying, you know what, I got something from this.
Bingo. Let me add another gem. You made money while we were there, at least $6,000. Hope you don't mind me sharing that. You said
we were only there for a couple hours.
We were there for a couple hours. You showed me on your watch. Here, look.
You gotta turn those off sometimes. Like, damn, okay, I can drink changes your energy. You don't get one for a couple hours. You're like, oh, what's happening?
I asked you, how did these come about? If you know how these came about, you said, yeah, well, this one was this one was that, but the majority were from calls, free webinar calls. All right, I had an inquiry come in today, a guy. So I don't like sales calls. If I'm being transparent, not my thing. But Anthony does it. Anthony's further advanced. What am I going to do? Do what Anthony does. I'm not changing shit. I'm just doing what people who are further advanced are doing. That's it. Guy, hey, good afternoon. I was looking at the program. I wasn't sure which one to pick. Is it possible? Yada, yada. I was like, cool. Are you able to hop on with our CEO in the next 15 minutes? He couldn't get on the call, but here's what I did. I made a video. Send them the video with the two different options that most people like. I said, if it's not clear, let me know. We can get on a 15-minute call before 6 o'clock. I have somewhere to go. And that was it. But I saw $6,000 come in. I saw how he got it. I tried to implement what he did. If you guys can simplify success, you'll be less stressed out, and you will have more money. Get the fat out.
Get the fat out. But the dope thing about what you did was sending that video added another touch point. Could you imagine getting a video of a CEO of a company answering your question? Not many people are doing that. So think about that for any business that you guys have or you want to start. You could leverage the CEO or owner play. Like in our cleaning business, we'll do that all the time where we'll say, you know what, we can't answer this question. Let me run this up the ladder. And then the ladder comes, which is us saying, let us run it up. We're the owners, we're the CEOs. Sometimes we're even answering the emails. It's like, let me talk to the owners and let me get back to you. And the owner calls you like, oh wow, you're the busy owner of this company, and you're calling me, and just adds another touch point so that you could leverage for your marketing, you could leverage for your customer service. And now that person that you emailed said, you know what, the CEO of the owner sent me a personalized video to answer my question.
And Anthony, what's the touch point, Anthony? Because in case people don't know.
Yeah, so a touch point could be multiple things. So a touch points are each interactions that your customers would have with you. So for example, if they send you a text message and you respond to them, that's a touch point. Touch point could be an email. Touch point could be a Loom video. Touch point could be a phone call. Touch point could be an Instagram DM. So all these touch points adds different levels of trust to your business. So what you did was added a level of trust by sending him over that video, which is absolutely amazing. So hopefully that turns into a client, and then hopefully you could change his life by having an extra.
Some people need to see you 7 times or have 7 touch points to buy from you. So email might be one, text message might be one, YouTube video might be one, yada yada. Instagram might be one. So the more touch points, the more likely that you will have a sale.
So think about the touch points for Whop. So you may have never heard of them before. Now they got Anthony talking about it with Andre. So those are just 2 people. We're not talking about the other 68 people, 78 people that was in the room. It's like 80 people that they flew out total. Yeah. So they got us talking about it in the room with each other. They got us using the platform. That's number 3. So now we're posting content while we are there. Andre, you did, I don't know how many videos you did there.
A bunch,
right? A bunch, and you tagged them. That's 3 or 4. Now, think about each one of those people that we contacted just by posting the content. Now, we got Mark talking to me about it, right? So they know what they're doing. Like, smart businesses know what they're doing. We're talking about a potential $1 billion business. So they already know me, and I did the math. So I said if they flew out 80 creators, and I said 80 creators, they gave, let's say the flights were $500. I kind of undercut myself. I said $500.
Yeah. That's
$40,000. I said they pay $40,000 to fly out 80 creators. Now, we could talk about buses and dinners. Let's say even 50.
Yeah.
Like an even $50,000. Each creator there had to make at least $3,000 on their platform. So $3,000 times 80. That's $250,000 that you had to make on their platform to get flown out. Some people did more, like we did more. Some people did way more than we did. But we know that they had to make at least $240,000 on their platform. So worst case scenario, let's say the fees are, I don't know, 3%, right, of whatever it is. Worst case scenario, they broke even. Or they lost, let's say they lost $20,000, $30,000, right? But imagine how much they would have to spend in marketing and ads in order to get that same reach on these platforms that they just got potentially organically.
Yeah.
So they might have lost a couple, maybe let's say half a ticket. Let's say they lost like $50,000. I spend $20,000, $30,000 in ads every single month, and I'm not getting that type of reach. I was sitting there doing that math, like, wait, how much did they might have lost?
The organic reach play.
The organic reach play. So now we're sitting there doing a podcast about it, and this hasn't even gone out yet.
Damn.
So one of the other things that we're talking about in regards to taking action, they had us sit there. They had invited us to do a hackathon. So a hackathon means that they gave us like 6 or 8 different teams while we were there, and we had to go through ways they could improve the platform, from the landing page to the checkout to the marketing to this. So if everybody there is on the platform they're using, you're like, oh, I wish we had this. They're like, I want to hear the craziest idea that you could come up with. Give us the opportunity to tell you no. Let us try to figure it out. And they gave each engineer 6 hours to implement, not write down ideas, to implement an actual idea that was possible. And what they did was we all sat in a room and we came up with ideas. Dre, let's talk about the hackathon for a little bit.
Your customers are your best consultants. That's exactly what they did. Instead of bringing in outside consultants, let me bring in our customers who are here anyway, and let me get advice from them.
Bingo.
So I hardly ever get bad reviews. Not being arrogant, I'm just great at what I do. If I'm not great at it, I just don't do it. But a lady over the summertime said, I was disappointed. I thought it was this. It was just this. Now, I've sold 95, I gotta share my screen, $95,000 plus of this thing. Maybe 2 chargebacks. I typically sell this thing for $100. I've been selling it for a good amount of years. I think she's the only one. She didn't ask for a refund. I just gave it to her. And let me pull it up here. And I said, okay. I could have said a couple things. I could have said, well, you're wrong, yada, yada, yada. I didn't even do all that. I said, okay, thank you for your feedback. I'll give you a refund. Have a good day. Now, no one else. Here goes. This is just part of the sales here, but it's $95,370 on here, and I've had other payments through other softwares. So arrogant Dre could have said, "Screw you! How dare you!" Yada yada yada. Listening Dre said, "Okay." Even with what she's saying, even though literally, let's even say 5 people haven't liked it out of the $100,000 in sales. Is there something right in what she's saying? Let me go through it. I haven't been through it in a while. I said, okay, cool, baby. I can get rid of some of this stuff and change around this, yada, yada, yada. But her critique, even though it was kind of rude, it's still feedback. Your customers, good or bad, can be your best consultants. And that's what they did with the hackathon. We told them what we liked, what we didn't like. They fixed it that day. And at the end of the day, it was done. Genius.
Taking action.
Genius play.
And you know what was crazy about it was I'm thinking we're going to sit there and do a PowerPoint presentation and show them the ideas. They said, no, we want to take action today and implement what you guys said. So me and Dre's team won. Shout out to team 3.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
And few of the ideas weren't like groundbreaking ideas, but it was like, oh, it'd be a nice to have. A nice to have being able to collect emails as soon as they come to your landing page. A nice to have might be before they check out, oh, here's a discount code. A nice to have might be this GIF image when they come to your page or something like that. These weren't groundbreaking ideas, but the thing was, we had experience because we've been selling millions of dollars of digital products over the course of Dre's been doing this for quite some time now, but they were able to take the action. Now, I told them, like, I don't use the platform that much, but I know what I would like to see. I know what works in our business. And they took action and they implemented that same day. That's what a young company is able to do. When you are young, when you are scrappy, when you are motivated, when you are hungry, when you are ready to work, you will work. You will work towards a common goal. And they took action on everything we said.
Be open to suggestions. Be open to change.
Man,
just be open. Just be open.
They had took those ideas, they had implemented, and then they said the winner from the Whop side gets to fly anywhere in the world where they want.
Oh, really? I didn't know that part.
They got to fly anywhere in the world, and then our team, we get to post our business on their main feed. So, for example, it's like on Amazon or like Etsy. You go to Etsy.com, and then your business is listed there. So that automatically generates you more, more revenue because they'll post you as like the highlighted or featured or whatever it is. Business.
Something I've known about the top earning creators, when top earning creators play. They did what we talk about all the time ad nauseum. Get great at something, before you move on. People move on too soon. They move on because they're bored. They move on because they have a slow month or week or quarter. But they create more work for themselves, and it typically doesn't work out. Once in a while, it typically doesn't work out. One brother, a boy from Texas, he's 19 again. Everyone there is 19. He's 19, 90 a month. He closed his cold call closer, closed 12K in sales while we were on the party bus going to and from Times Square. He has one thing. He sells marketing to concrete companies.
That's it.
Marketing services to concrete companies. His brother's a welder. He joined the company, so that's their next phase. And their cousin or friend works for the company too. Concrete company and marketing. People want to be so fancy, fam. Get fancy when you have money.
That's it.
People get fancy too early. So we got the brother who's marketing, who helps doctors market. And if you notice the theme here, these genius people, they just find the need. If people have a business, they need marketing, and they target customers who have the money. Alex Hormozy play. Sell to the rich or people who can afford you. Stop trying to sell to people who can't afford you. It's just a never-ending cycle of poverty. And they just went all in on these things, and shit, they lit, man.
Selling leads to doctors. Selling leads to lawyers. Selling leads to contractors who pour concrete. These are $25,000 deals that you could sell to somebody. So that's another important gem you just mentioned. Sell to people who can pay your services. Sell to people who can afford you.
Dallas from Houston, even though his name was Dallas was in Houston. Dallas from Houston sells leads to real estate agents and brokers. He closed $8,000 while we were there.
Yep. Sell to people who can afford your services. I was talking about selling leads to cleaning services. I'm like, I wouldn't do that. I'm like, they barely want to get the program. So, but I'm like, sure, I'm about to go to sell to concrete people, right? So sell to roofers, stuff like that. So these are big ticket items. And the funny thing is they're using the same funnels that you would use for digital products. Add to a VSL, to a book call, to a close, and you give the lead to the business. Same exact funnel. And he was using Go High Level. And it's funny. I learned so much from that 19-year-old in about 20 minutes. 20 minutes. He showed us the front end. He showed us the back end. He showed us the support, what it looks like. But we were open to almost double his age. Actually, double his age. Right? We were open to the conversation. It's like, show us what you learned. Even though we know these platforms, we don't know enough. We don't know too much where we aren't able to ask the questions.
And then some people would have said, oh man, they're so young, I'm going to teach them. I know some people who talk like that. I'm going to teach them. Some people I taught stuff. Some people taught me.
That's it.
Yeah. But because someone's younger than you, that they're supposed to be submissive to your ideas, it's stupid.
Absolutely not. And that's the thing about this age too. These kids are making more than us.
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell somebody who's making more money than you what to do.
I tell you, man, the ego play, Anthony, it jacks people up, bro, because they can become more consumed with being right and doing things their way than actual progress. People have a need to be right and to do things their way rather than to make progress.
Nuts.
Which Absolutely. Would you rather? Be right or make money? I'll take the money.
I'll take the money. One of the other things we did was, like Dre mentioned, we went out to Times Square. We went out to Times Square and they shared Cleaning Business University and all the other creators on a billboard. I like this that we could share the screen and stuff like that. So this was a nice surprise because they mentioned it, but I didn't know what it would look like. I didn't know the experience. And the crazy thing is being in your own city with that energy, with your business plastered on a billboard, like that's how you close out the year. I was like, this is how you close out the year. We're going to use this for some ads. We're going to use this for some more content. I wish I could have got some better videos and stuff like that, but it was up there so quick. But being able to have your business plastered on a billboard, this is another play when you talk about touch points and organic marketing. So you post your business, you tag them. Now this goes semi-viral. This is one of our most liked posts in the past and most talked about posts in the past, probably 30, 40. Oh, I just got a like right there. In the past 30, 45 days.
Wow.
So now people are coming to the page. They're seeing that. They're having the conversations about it. They're asking questions how you were able to do that. It's like, oh, yeah, we got flown out and we got invited. So this is another marketing play from their perspective. But super amazing touch point being out there in New York City. Dre, what was your feelings while you was on the street? Because I got some. Hold on, this is dope. I like this. Hopefully, I'm not showing too much of my screen right here. Let me show. This is Dre while we out there. Let me share this. Let me see if I can pull this out. There's another one we had. Boom. Hold on. Is it on the stage yet? This is cool. What was your feeling? This is you can tell my emotions. What was you feeling like in that moment?
Oh man, that's a great picture. Energized. Energized, inspired. And our little crew that we formed there too were just really just dope people, just really great ideas, really just phenomenal. Energized and inspired. Proud to be there. Proud I went. Happy I went. Proud of you. I saw a man in Dallas there, like literally just getting paid. I think
he was getting paid literally while we were there.
Paid. It was just joy, bro. And so when you have a job, when you're in school, there are metrics to know that you've made it. You graduate, you get A's, you get B's, you get promoted, you go from intern to assistant to VP. With entrepreneurship, you kind of have to create your own thing to celebrate. And you can miss so much of your celebration because you are making less than you used to. Someone in the same industry is making more money than you do. But even though you are probably ahead of 60, 70, 80% of all, 90% of all people in the world, you can downplay it because there's no systematized metric. And stuff like this just says, wow, like, we're doing something. And I felt valuable there because I was able to not toot my own home, but I was able to give Dallas some strategies, and he ran with the strategies. I was able to give some other people there some strategies, and they were implement those right there. So we kind of had our own fraternity brotherhood thing going on, and it was just amazing.
You mentioned you didn't just give him strategies. You was giving strategy out. I mean, you got to think about it. So we have this entrepreneurship thing kind of I don't want to say twisted, but it's different. I don't want to say twisted. It is different.
Yeah.
So Dre and myself, we have local businesses, where we service people face to face sometimes, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to say everybody. Most people here at this event were online creators, meaning this is you don't need a physical storefront. You don't need to physically go somewhere. You don't need to physically see anybody. So a lot of the people here were online creators. They have online businesses. So Dre gave me his perspective over the last 20 years of entrepreneurship. If you've been an entrepreneur for 20 years and people are 19, right?
Yeah.
So you're able to give a whole different perspective on what this looks like. So that this picture in this moment here for me was just like, listen, being able to be in New York City, having that energy. Dallas was closing deals. It's like, this is and you mentioned there's no Super Bowl for entrepreneurship. There's nobody patting you on the back. There's nobody saying you're doing a great job or end of year review when you're the owner of the business. There's none of that. So this was my version of the end of year review. This is my version of the pat on the back, right? This is my version of you're still doing a good job. Because sometimes as we just go through the day-to-day, it seems like it's normal. It's like, you know what? He's made $1,000, he's made $4,000, and I want to make more. And you kind of get in that monotonous cycle of just doing the same thing over and over. But like Hormozi said, that's what greatness is, doing the same thing over and over and over again, where it's not sexy. This is the sexy part right here. That award in the back might be the sexy part right there, but that doesn't happen every day. That might happen once a year or once every 2 years. So we always got to be reminded as entrepreneurs, this is not sexy. This is not glamorized. But when we do get these moments, we got to highlight and celebrate it.
Got to take it in. Got
to take it in, man. So Dre, as we land the plane, what do you feel like going into 2025? What type of energy did this give you? What are some things you're looking forward to in the new year?
So let me talk about some mistakes, if that's cool. So
yeah, of course.
Mistakes that I've made in things, if I would have done differently. been much further advanced. So I've never had a full-time staff member who only works for me. And I've had great people, some great, some not great, but their main focus was never my company. Okay. And what I realized is everybody I know, let's say with 9% of people I know make over $1 million a year, which I haven't made $1 million in a calendar year as of yet. They have someone who just works on their company, at least one person, maybe two. That's their job. So I said, okay, I need to get somebody in here. It might not be even in the first few months, but about the first quarter, I need to get somebody in here, and their job is to be in here 6-7 days a week. And ideally, I will be meeting up with them at least in person sometimes. I think the work from home stuff is cool, but I think having someone in the office sometimes who you're meeting with is beneficial. Paid ads. I've never consistently run paid ads. I've showed you my ads that I'm working on, so now they're out. They're rolling. Paid ads campaign. Mm-hmm. All the people there who are doing 90, 180 a month, you know what they're doing, Anthony? They're doing paid ads. All the people who are doing these numbers too, what else are they doing? They're doing phone calls, calling people over the phone. You know what I started doing? Call people over the phone. So some stuff we need to hear a couple of times before we reiterate. But when we're pissed off enough about what we haven't done, you're more open to be receptive about the change. So I'm in a real receptive place. I'm in a real growth place. I'm in a real study. Not everybody, but you, Mark, a couple other people, Julian, hardcore studying, and see where I'm going wrong and get that stuff on point.
So to recap, full-time person, which I think is an absolute game changer.
Full-time person, yes. Who doesn't want to be an entrepreneur? Who wants to?
I was going to ask you what role would it be? So would it be like an ops manager? Would it be an executive assistant? Would it be a combination of both? Would it be a general VA? What would that look like for you?
So ideally, it would be a little bit of both, but I don't want to force people to do what they're not good at. Okay. So either executive assistant or ops manager who can oversee. So I have a very well-oiled machine, but it needs more oil for me to run. And I want to be where I can just show up and do my thing and where I don't have to put too much effort into it. I think my business will be more successful the less I work in it.
Okay. Yeah. So EA, ops manager, ads, and calls.
Yeah, getting calls. Yep. And part-time. So I haven't had a full-time media person in a while. Luckily for me, previous to the past 2 years, but from 2018 to 2022, I have a lot of media. I got stuff in my phone I haven't even used.
You do post a lot. I'm like, YouTube, I see a video, I get tagged, not tagged, but I'll see I think something just showed them in my feed just now.
Yo, so I have all this stuff. So I was like, so I could repurpose, but I need to get back. I need to get a media person. That doesn't have to be full-time, but I need a media person who can give me at least, let's say, 10 clips and images a week. Those are my 2025. All the stuff that I just mentioned, and I'm back from the weekly webinars as well. All the stuff will get me $1 million a year. Everything I just mentioned. I execute on this stuff. Our call this time next year will be $1 million call.
There you go. You guys heard it here from Dre first. Some of my takeaways, Donnie's been telling us for a while, but we've been shying away from sales calls for some time. This year, we implemented sales calls in the last probably 4 months because somebody was like, do it. And we've made more money. So I did it and we've made more money. So now focusing on getting, like you said, a person to do sales. Because like we said, we're in a version of what people call like a trust recession. Even though they see your content, they see your emails, it's like those touch points. This just adds that last touch point. We did a webinar, last night, and 5 people booked calls. Even though I sat on that for an hour, gave all the information, did Q&A, 5 people still booked sales calls.
Wow.
So this is why. Huh?
How do those sales calls go?
I don't know, actually. So I don't think anybody booked for today, which is I actually got to go. I haven't had the conversation with my ops manager yet,
Okay.
but I haven't even checked the calendar to see how they went. Let me see
Gotcha.
when they are booked for. But I don't think anybody booked for today.
Gotcha.
So implementing sales calls, but then more seriously, getting back to content. We slacked on content half this year, not to make excuses, but we had a lot of life happening this year. So getting back to content and getting sales calls locked in. Webinars are still. I think I might play with a few strategies on a little bit more evergreen webinars where they don't have to wait to join. They don't have to wait 7 days. So I might do something where like live is Thursday or Sunday, and then adds to a Tuesday one or a Thursday one. So they don't gotta wait till the next 7 days. But those are just some of the things I'm thinking about. And then getting back around, like getting back to investing in ourselves and our business. I got some ideas of some people I want to work with at the top of the year. I'm joining one of his workshops tomorrow. Just kind of get more acclimated on the way he runs his business. And I think that's important. So those are some things looking forward to in 2025, man. And definitely want to shout out the Whop team. Definitely want to, and it's WHOP. I want to shout out to them for flying us out, giving us a first-class experience. That steak was absolutely amazing. The cornbread was amazing. Like everything about that.
That lunch was serious too, boy. That lunch, rice and salmon.
Lunch was good, man. Lunch was good. So shout outs to them for giving us that amazing experience. But definitely wanted to recap and give you guys a background on what it looks like and what these guys are building over there, but also our experiences running these digital products, digital entrepreneurs, info products, as they say. So Dre, anything you want to leave the people with?
The money is out there.
Oh yeah, they showed us.
They
told us.
Very few people have a I can't do this problem. Some people are can't do it. Some people are just out of alignment, meaning that maybe they shouldn't be an entrepreneur, but they should be an investor. 80% of people are in the right field, I feel. 80%. People have the money to pay you. People are happy to pay you. It's on you to do what you need to do to get in front of them so they are happy paying you. Maybe it's ads, maybe it's more podcasts, maybe it's whatever. But I am fully convinced, absolutely fully convinced, that if you are in a service that people want and or need, and they like you and or like your products, it's your fault that they aren't buying. It's absolutely your fault. And the good thing about it being your fault is you can change it. Now, how soon it might not be happy for you. How much money it might cost you might not be happy for you. But don't blame the industry. Don't blame customers. Everybody you need is out there. So if you want it bad enough, you will figure it out.
There it is. It's funny because I gave somebody to hit me up about how to do something. And I said, I told you this before, but I said, I'm not going to tell you again because this is an easily Googleable thing. I was like, if you Google it, figure it out, come back to me, show me you figure it out, I will give you everything after that. I was like, the longer you take, the less responsive I'm going to be, the less game I'm going to give you, because now I'm just wasting my time. It's been a couple weeks now. They haven't gotten back to me.
There we go.
There it is. So they really didn't want it bad enough. They just wanted me to hand feed it to them, spoon feed it to them.
If you want it bad enough, you will figure it out. Get out of your own way. Get out of your own head. And a lot of people need a strategy. Need a strategy, coach, professional, or group. A lot of people have enough information, but you need You need strategy, accountability, information equals money. Strategy, accountability, information equals money. A lot of people need to make sure they have all those things checked off. If you have all those things checked off, and look, to get somebody good, it probably won't be cheap. But that might be your missing component to why you haven't hit your number yet in a year. So I challenge everyone to think about that.
There it is. How can the people get that strategy, that coaching, that mentorship, Dre, when they need it?
Get with me. I'm the best. I'll get you right. Get with me. The Andre C. Hatchett on Instagram. The Andre C. Hatchett on Instagram. Website Andre Hatchett for the personal coaching. I'm here for you. I can get you right quickly. I'm not. And look, you might hate me. I've heard that quite a few times. But after you get over hating me, you will be making more money.
There it is. And you can find us at Cleaning Business University, cleaningbusinessmasterclass.com. If you want to learn how to start and scale a 7-figure cleaning business, tap into the weekly workshops, weekly masterclasses. And this has been fun, Dre. Good
Yeah,
chatting with you. Let's keep this thing going.
let's cook. See you guys
All
later.
right, bro.